Dear listeners, hello and welcome to another episode of Field Notes, the weekly podcast from the Hindu business line on all things agribusiness. Today we'll be talking about an issue that to my mind is one of the most important as far as India's food and farming sector goes. I really encourage you to read, listen, watch videos and think very carefully about this issue because it not only concerns your family's health but also has enormous bearing on you and the nation's finances and the environment. Given the importance of this issue, this is going to be a slightly long intro, so please bear with me. The Union government last week announced the National Mission for Edible Oil and Palm Oil. India imports nearly 60% of the edible oil it consumes. And this taste for oil translates into an import bill of a whopping 80,000 crore rupees. Of these imports, palm oil alone accounts for nearly 55%. The edible oil mission aims to cut down the reliance on imports and move towards the kind of self-sufficiency we have with food grains. Palm oil is by far the world's favorite cooking fat and it is ubiquitous. You will find it in snacks, chocolates, Nutella, ice creams, noodles, shampoos, detergents, and all manner of cosmetics. The European Union till last year used palm oil as a biofuel, mixing 5% of it in petrol, just as we blend petrol here with ethanol. There's a reason why palm oil is popular. It is the most efficient source of vegetable oil. While 1 hectare of soy farm can yield an average of about zero point 0.4 tons of oil, the same area of palm plantation produces about 3.4 to 4 tons or roughly 8 times more oil. As a result, the government has earmarked a whopping 11,000 crore over the next 5 years to ramp up the production of palm domestically. The target is to produce about 11.2 lakh tons by 2025-26. The government will literally roll out the red carpet for farmers who switch to growing palm oil, with financial assistance going up to about 40 to 50,000 per hectare annually per farmer. And it claims a very profitable price guarantee scheme for farmers too. But, there may be a glitch. Palm oil seems to have a massive reputation problem. Many activists consider it to be the coal of the food world, bad for health, bad for the planet. On YouTube, you will find hundreds of videos and documentaries on how palm plantations in countries like Malaysia and Indonesia are evil, that they're responsible for the loss of nearly 9 million hectares of tropical forests and the cause for extinction of animal species like the Sumatran rhino. Middle class Indians think of palm oil as dirty because it poses the highest risk of cardiac health. To be fair, there may not be conclusive evidence that palm oil is any worse than, say, soya oil. Areas for palm cultivation identified in India include the northeastern states. Will this result in a similar destruction of fragile ecology? Is the government embarking on a calamitous policy course, jumping literally from the frying pan straight into the fire? This podcast has two parts. In part one today, I'll be in conversation with Dr. RK Mathur, the director of Indian Institute of Oil Palm Research based in Peddavegi in Andhra. You'll likely hear from him the government perspective and a stout defense of the new policy. Tomorrow in part 2, I'll be speaking to Bhavna Prasad, the Director of Sustainable Business Division at the Worldwide Fund for Nature or WWF on the environmental concerns associated with oil palm. So do watch out for that. Dr. Mathur is a gene scientist and headed the government committee in 2020 that assessed the potential areas for oil palm cultivation in India. That forms the basis for the government's plans to enlist nearly 3 million hectares of oil palm plantations over the next decade. Welcome, Dr. Mathur, to Field Notes. The charge sheet against palm oil made by the activists seems very compelling. You know, they say it is bad for the environment, it is bad for you. It has resulted in environmental damage of huge proportions in Southeast Asia. why has the government decided to put all its eggs in the oil palm basket?
If you look at the oil palm development programs in Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, what you said may be correct. There, they are actually disturbing the forest, they are disturbing the ecology, and they are going for the oil palm. If you look at our country, then that is not the case. So their concept of sustainability comes where whether it is ecologically or sustainable or not, it is okay. If you talk in India, by inbuilt mechanism of oil palm development program here, it is sustainable. Sustainable in the sense it is farmer's crop, it is grown on the farmer's fields, and we are not removing, we are not destroying any forest cover.
Mhm.
So absolutely those questions, whatever are there, I think it is answered.
Mhm.
We are not at all destroying anything else.
Just,
We
just
are only
so the viewers understand, when you say it's a farmer's crop, you mean that, say, a farmer is growing rice, so that farm is converted into an oil palm plantation.
yeah. So that is for the best use of the available resources.
Mhm.
Available resources mainly water, okay, nutrients, and the land which is having. So if you look at the rice
You will
paddy product,
not be clearing any forest tracts to create new
no,
plantations.
no, not at all.
Mhm.
Say if I have a 4 hectare land, I have already been growing oil palm or groundnut and this and that. Now
Mhm.
I want to grow for oil palm.
Mhm.
That's all.
Mhm.
So there is no any forest cover disturbed, not at all. We request, hello,
Yeah. Carry on.
yeah. While we are going for the oil palm cultivation in this area, we are requesting farmers that it should go in a contiguous area.
Mhm.
Let it in a cluster approach togetherness.
Mhm.
So that approach is really working well. And if you look from the top, you can see any plantation view that gives a forest look. If you look at the carbon sequestration, it is much more than any other forest, tropical forest species. Two
Mhm.
to three leaves per year, per month are produced.
Mhm.
Lot of biomass is added that can be recycled to the soil. You can again add the nutrients and ordering better to the soil. It will further add.
Mhm.
Now, second thing,
That is, it's an argument that, say, even coffee farmers in Coorg or Chikmagalur put forward, that, actually this is not plantation, but this is agroforestry. A coffee plantation is actually a forest. But it's
yeah,
still
I say,
it's still farming. You use chemicals. Chemical inputs are produced, and the
no, but
ecology is.
here we are not using chemicals. If you look at the pesticides, no.
Mhm.
If you look at the herbicide, almost less. I will not say no, less.
Mhm.
If you look at the fertilizer requirement, now we have come out with the technologies where fertilizer requirement is half. Further technology, if you go for recycling, further 50% reduce. So
Mhm.
almost 25% of nutrient requirement.
Mhm.
So nutrient application also is very less. Nutrient use efficiency also of this crop is ensured more. It is under micro irrigation system of irrigation. Further nutrients are given through fertigation now. So where is the problem to the any damage to the soil and environment?
Mhm.
Third thing is that now we are recommending cropping system approach, multiple cropping system. We have identified a number of crops which can be taken as intercrops in oil palm.
Mhm.
Earlier, this research data was not available.
Mhm.
But now, over the years, our scientists have worked hard and we have come out with a 25 number of crops which can be grown under partial shade conditions.
Mhm.
These crops are high value crops, low volume crops. Oil palm, cocoa intercropping, you would have heard it is a successful venture.
Mhm.
Apart from this, we have identified more crops. So again, biomass of those crops, again many things which are there of the environment related, say it's a microflora or microfauna, whatever is there. So it is a system approach going on. It is not monoculture. Oil palm alone is creating problem. If you look at Malaysia, Indonesia, yes, they are under monoculture system. If you look at our Indian conditions now, we are going towards a multiple cropping system.
So
The
you're saying that
system
the
has a
context and practice of India and Southeast Asia is completely different and they can't be compared.
completely different. Please don't compare. Please don't compare with them. They don't know what is intercropping. We know what is intercropping. They don't know what is irrigation. We know what is irrigation.
Mhm.
They know only fertilizer application through broadcast or through basin application, soil application. We
Mhm.
know the fertigation.
Mhm.
So they're altogether different approach of cultivation there. They
Mhm.
are removing the forest and planting oil palm.
Mhm.
We are planting only on our cultivated land, on
Mhm.
farmers' field only. So altogether it is a different approach where our system is sustainable by inbuilt mechanism of oil palm development program.
Mhm.
I think I could make you this thing very clear.
Mhm. Dr. Mathur, what is the economic case for palm? Why do you say it is such an efficient crop?
If you look at the productivity levels, if you look at the productivity of groundnut annuals, you can see soybean, sunflower, sesame, safflower, and if you look at the oil palm productivity, it stands very tall.
Mhm.
4 to 6 tons of oil per hectare per year
Mhm.
is produced through oil palm. On an average, we are talking.
Mhm.
If you look at the groundnut, productivity level is around 11 quintals of groundnut. Oil, if you go, it is only around zero point 0.4 tons of oil.
Mhm.
If you look at it, soybean and others, almost 8 to 10 times of oil is produced more. Now, if you look at the way in which urbanization is going on, if you look at that, the cultivated land is sinking like anything, then what is your requirement? Requirement for in Indian context is that a crop is required where we can have more productivity per se,
Mhm.
and their oil palm becomes very very important, and
Mhm.
that is why government of India is promoting and come out with a very beautifully devised system of NMEO oil palm, where oil palm is being promoted with hoping investment also. So that is the way oil palm requires. Now, why it is going in such a high level is it takes 3 years to come out with the production.
Mhm.
3 years is the gestation period.
So it starts fruiting only after 3 years.
After 3 years,
Mhm.
some small fruits will come, but generally we remove. The
Mhm.
concept, you could understand is initial growth, more of vegetative type we allow.
Mhm.
So water small bunches also come, we remove them, and so that that energy can be diverted on the establishment of the plantations.
Mhm.
So 3 years there is no yield, and government of India is again supporting there also financially to uh, oil palm growers. So that 3 years is a long gestation period. Farmer can keep on getting some income. Second thing is in those 3 years, any intercrop can be taken. Anything, whatever is grown locally can be taken. But we recommend that we suggest to go for oil seed in oil palm
Mhm.
so that we can further add it to oil food. So
Mhm.
if you look at Telangana, there are farmers which are taking groundnut in oil palm.
Mhm.
If you look at Northeast, if mustard is green grown, let them grow mustard in between, no problem. But it is an empty space available between two rows of oil palm, and anything can be grown, but don't grow more water requiring crops like paddy.
Mhm.
That we don't take part.
Mhm.
Only thing is what basin is there of the oil palm that should be kept clean. Intercrops should not be grown there. That's all.
But
So
what is the water footprint of palm oil? Is it true that it is a water guzzler?
no, if you look at the total water requirement, most of the Telangana area and Andhra also, farmers are taking two paddy crops. You may be knowing it.
Mhm.
And we have our committee, we made 3 teams, and we have roamed around in Telangana, wherever Kaleswaram project and other areas have been developed. And we have seen that water is in plenty available now in Telangana.
Mhm.
At the same time, farmers are taking two paddy crops. So you can easily go for oil palm. Paddy crops, again, you know that it is not much remunerative. At the same time, government is facing problem of purchasing this and that, and it is more again labor intensive also. If you look at the oil palm, it is less labor requirement. It is just what 143 pounds per hectare, not more. 2 to 3 meters of basin can be easily maintained. Interpalm space, if you grow oil intercrop, very good. Otherwise, no problem. If it is slightly weedy also. After 3 years or in fourth year, if you see, it totally almost shade type. It is almost dark in the plantation. So no weed can grow also. After 7 8 years, while some is light start infiltrating, around 25% light comes, you can go for the next series of intercrops like long pepper, bush pepper, then heliconia, red ginger. Then now we have identified this ginger, different varieties of ginger, different varieties of turmeric, which are high value crops and low value crops. So they can easily take up. Market can be assured, market can be tagged, and farmer will get the regular income, much more than what is expected. So if you look at the cost benefit ratio, it goes to 2.8. So you can imagine that it is not only doubling. I will not talk of doubling and tripling, but farmer will be getting definitely higher income. Second thing is system approach developed. One system has been developed where it is not only oil palm, plus many other things are also there, which will help in total development of the local flora and fauna. Another concept which Institute has given recently is um, mixed farming system. Farmer will have animal component also. And if you include the animal component, cost benefit ratio goes to 3.21. So, but he will get, our purpose is that he can get to protein, animal protein also, animal fat also. Animals can be maintained well. We have identified the grasses which can be grown under shade conditions. Generally, grass require empty space or empty, say, these grasslands. But here we identified the species which can be grown under partial shade condition also, so that farmers' animal component also can be supported. So in that way, really, and these things are not there outside. These things are not the concept in Malaysia and Indonesia. There it is purely a monoculture concept. Here it is a multiple cropping concept which we are putting forward. So even if you go to Northeast also, we are not talking of the oil palm alone. We are talking of oil palm plus cropping system approach. So that farmer can get something from different commodities, and his overall system approach, overall resources can be used efficiently, and he can get a better money in his hand.
Dr. Mathur, let me now come to the other, the fear factor of palm being the most unhealthy cooking medium. Has the government considered this at all while framing this policy?
Definitely, we expect groundnut. This government would have taken note of that. I am having the comparative data also of different crops versus this. If you, Vivek, if you look at the present system of our food nutrition, then we are talking of the multigrains. Multigrain atta is there, multigrain dalia is there, multigrain food stuffs are there. Why we are talking of multigrain? No food, whether it is wheat, rice, or ragi, or maize, and this will be complete. That's why we talk of the mixed food concept or multiple grains, multi-grain concept. If you look at the oil also, blending is permitted. Why blending is required? One oil is superior in some aspect, other oil is superior in other aspects of the fatty acid compositions. So that way, definitely palm oil. I have seen the review of the American Society of Phytochemicals or something. In that, definitely they are clearly told that palm oil is not seen to cause any heart or other ailments. Now, I will tell you our own study here. National Institute of Nutrition is there in Hyderabad. NIN and ICMR for past 22 to 24 years, they also come out with the finding that palm oil is not affecting the heart at all. And If you look at the plus points again, if you talk, then I will definitely say that this is having almost similar type of monounsaturated fatty acids.
Mhm.
Monounsaturated fatty acids, and definitely you can see the literature and this that doesn't affect the health.
Mhm.
If you look at the concept of vitamin A and vitamin E, vitamin A is the mainly pro-vitamin concept is there, and it is good for health and eyes. So this is rich source of vitamin A. It is rich source of vitamin E, tocopherol and tocotrienols.
Mhm.
That is also it is rich source. If you talk of the other chemicals, coenzymes like ubiquinones, that palm oil is having that component also. That also prevents the heart diseases.
Mhm.
Not only heart diseases, it improves the immune system also,
Mhm.
immunity system also.
Mhm.
So not like that we are working on oil palm and palm oil. That's why I am talking this. Ultimately, we are consuming ourselves.
Mhm.
So we are also consuming. If you look at the concept now, Baba Ramdev and all others, what they are telling, keep on changing oil in your diet. Don't go for the one particular type of oil, be it even sunflower oil, be it even sesame oil, be it even groundnut oil elsewhere.
Mhm.
So keep on changing. Or rather, in our house, we are blending with two, three oils and then cooking.
Mhm.
So that way, this is actually very recently one WhatsApp message you also would have seen. Some Dr. Sharda or somebody has floated that it is a high risk for children and this and that. While Dr. Sharda was approached, she declined that she has given any this kind of comment.
Mhm.
So I think I could reply to your query, and I request you to please see that it reaches to many people. It is nothing, no harm to any form to our health.
Mhm.
But at the same time, no single oil can regularly be consumed.
Mhm.
So either you have to go for the blending or you have to keep in a cyclic with other oils.
Mhm. Mhm.
At least in my house, we consume palm oil also.
Okay. Dr. Mathur, while I was attending the seminar that you had organized yesterday on oil palm,
Yeah.
I got a feeling that there seems to be a distinct, developed world versus developing world, or West versus rest kind of debate, where a lot of the fears are seen to be propaganda of the Western world or vested interests of the soya bean lobby, for instance. What would be your reading? Would there be any truth to this, that all this propaganda or fear mongering about palm oil is carried out by Western interests?
As far as we are concerned, we do not have any doubt.
Hmm.
We do not have any doubt scientifically,
Hmm.
not by listening and not by reading. So all will have their business deals. I think you know it very well. So I don't want to comment on that. But at the same time, what we are consuming, what we are promoting for our own population, we
Hmm.
should be sure about it.
Hmm.
Why should we give bad material to our own population? What is our interest?
Hmm.
Let it be much cheaper also. It is only price which sends wrong signals in minds that it why it is so cheap. So cheap it is due to the very high level of productivity per se.
Hmm.
Your cost of cultivation is very less. Your production levels are very high. That's why overall oil is cheaper in price.
Hmm.
But lot of nutritional benefits I have already listed. And this is being consumed, you can see. And that's why if you look at the past 8 to 10 years of the pattern of the consumption of oils, edible oils, slowly and slowly it is going towards the palm oil.
Hmm.
So if it is not good, definitely it would not have been accepted.
Hmm.
Coconut also, lot of things are talked.
Hmm.
Now what doctors are telling?
Years ago, coconut was considered to
Yeah.
be.
So now you can see how things are changed and the minds of the doctors also changed
Mhm.
and coconut considered. You can look at the pure desi ghee also.
Mhm.
Pure desi ghee is also hard. solid, but you can see there are a lot of advantages. So if something is solidifying partially or totally, doesn't mean it is not good for us.
Hmm.
You can see any product in supermarket, be it a very costly one, be it is a very cheaper one. You will always see palm oil is also one of the component there.
Hmm.
So what is this propaganda is there? Let people talk for their own oil. I don't mind,
Hmm.
but then no point of talking negative also on this.
Hmm.
That is wrong. That is wrong. It is sending wrong signals, which is not correct.
Hmm.
And if this would have been the case, definitely government of India would not have done this.
Hmm.